Hello there, metalheads, and welcome to Metal Verbalizers podcast. Today we will bring it back to the golden age of the 80s, because this time we are going to verbalize the band Harsh. Harsh is one of those bands that took the sound that we all loved from the 80s and brought it back to life. And the band was started sometime in 2018 in Paris, France. Or that is at least when their first release was put out. I guess the band started just before that. When it comes to influences, we can see names that we all recognize like Van Halen, Guns N' Roses, Mötley Crüe, and others. And the best way to describe the sound that we hear is a Gibson through a gained up Marshall. If we're honest, that is probably the absolute best recipe for hard rock and metal, and a sound that just can never go wrong. I think it was one of the guitarists that act behind Alice Cooper. He said that until someone proves me wrong, the absolute best recipe for rock and roll is a Gibson through a Marshall. And I don't really think he's wrong. Normally, I don't like to compare bands with each other because I think personally that bands should go for their own thing. But I will make an exception, or try to at least, for you guys, to give you an idea of what to expect when listening to Harsh. And Harsh is one of those bands that has a very classic sound, but it's still very hard to place with other bands. But something that I thought about, to give you something, I would say that if you like Guns N' Roses, you would most likely like Harsh, because there are many similarities in some of the songs with the groove that the band use. And the rock and groove was one of the things that got myself hooked when it comes to Harsh. Something that really grinds my gears when writing this episode is that I recognize the sound so clearly, but when looking for a band to more directly compare them to, I can't find one. And I guess that ties a little bit back to what I said, that I don't really like to compare bands with each other. I think that bands should do their own thing. And I guess that even though we have one of the most classic and popular sounds in metal, they have successfully done it and put their own spin to it. And that is impressive. And really, really good. But I think that the sound is, like I said, with a Gibson or a Marshall. And it is the most classic sound that we can imagine. And like I said, Harsh has just put their own spin on this very classic sound. And just put that effort into give the music that groove. And it's just a groove that gets you going when you listen to the music. When I listen to music, I want to feel my foot start tapping and my head start banging and all of that good stuff. I want to, without like thinking about it, have my body take control and just vibe with the music. And that is something that I can do with the music from Harsh. And I believe that that is the reason to why I have a hard time to place them into a clear category as well. And they also use a classic vocal harmony mixed up with backup vocal shouting in a way that is similar to what we hear in bands like Airborne or AC/DC, which is maybe unexpected, but then it's expected as well. It is really like they have taken the best parts from their favorites from the golden era and put it together into one sound, creating a masterpiece born from the ashes from the 80s. When it comes to the band's image, it seems like the band really wants to bring back the glory of the 80s rock music with leather jackets, Jack Daniels, and a great passion for rock and roll. It is just everything that you want from an 80s metal band. That is something that I've thought about a lot recently, actually. And that is the expression glam metal has almost gotten a bad reputation to some extent, which is something that I personally highly disagree with. I think that's just clear bullshit. And I think that some songs that has come out of the genre is the grooviest and the heaviest stuff we've ever released in the name of metal. And like, just take any song from Van Halen or Harsh, and you will see what I mean. Like one example, "Hot for Teacher" by Van Halen. "Eruption" is not really a song; it's more like a solo. Their version of "You Really Got Me Now." I'm not gonna continue with more examples, but that is really what I mean with this. It's the grooviest and the heaviest shit ever released. But that's my 2 cents about the genre itself. And I think this might be a good moment to mention that the band has got a YouTube channel where they put out music videos of some of their songs, which are very, very well made, actually. And I think that the music videos are a very good thing for bands because it can be a very good way to give the listener something more than just what we hear on the record. And it can be also a great way to give the listener more of an idea how the band think about the song, if you catch my drift. And I personally sometimes prefer to listen to music together with a video, just because of that the band have the opportunity to give the hype that the song deserves, or maybe completely opposite if it is a ballad or something like that. And like I said, they say a picture can say more than 1,000 words, and that is something that really speaks for itself to give the song the vibe it needs. But let's talk a little bit about the music that the band has released. In 2018, they debuted with an EP called Slave. Here we find some banging tracks like Ain't Gonna Slow Down, Side to Side, and Break of Dawn. Already in their first release, we can hear that they have a pretty good idea of what type of a sound they want to go for. And when I listen to the song Side to Side, we can hear the groove that I love with the band. And this early as well. It's great. In 2019, we get the next release, which was a single called Tease Me. Then the single also got a supporting track called Under the LA Sun. And this is just another fantastic release from the band. And Under the LA Sun is one of those examples that did get straight into my everyday playlist that I listen to. This time we have to wait quite a while for another release, and I assume that is partially because of COVID, and that the band took the time to work on some new material. Because now in 2022, we weren't disappointed of what was released at all, because we start with a single called Good Lovin', just a great one. That one has a music video on their YouTube channel as well that you can go in and look at. And later, another single called Fire at Will. And both of these singles are later featured on the band's first ever full-length album called Out of Control. And on this album, we find some absolute bangers like Never Let Go, Hold You Tight, A Better Tomorrow. A Better Tomorrow is a track that stands out among the others because it is a slower track that has some acoustic guitar parts. And in my opinion, a good band makes music that gets you going. But a great band makes ballads as well. And some of my personal favorite songs from this band, from Harsh. Not really in any particular order, but it's gonna be Side to Side, Under the LA Sun, Good Lovin', Never Let Go, and A Better Tomorrow. And all of these tracks are actually in my everyday playlist that I listen to pretty much every day. That's why it's called an everyday playlist. On their current tour, that is about to take off now in November, they are going to open for Anvil actually on 18 shows. And later in February, they are going to rock the stage with The New Roses. And in April, they are rocking 6 shows with Loudness as well. And with this said, we can expect great things from this band. It's absolutely crazy. And some just fantastic collaborations in the making. And I hope there are gonna be even more bands next year that the band is going to collaborate with, because I think it's gonna be a great time and fantastic shows. But yeah, with that said, I think it's time to wrap things up a little bit. If the band sounds like something that you would like, which it does, please make sure to check them out. Have a listen to their music and make sure to follow them on their social medias as well to give them extra support, because nowadays that's one of the absolute best ways to support a band. If we're not talking about buying records, which should always be the main way to support a band, in my opinion. Also, there you might get updates on what the band is up to at the moment on their social medias, because they post a little bit about their tours and some music making and all of that good stuff that you want to know. And if you like what we are doing here on Metal Verbalizers podcast, you can follow us on our social medias as well, where you can get updates on what we are up to. And there you can also give us tips about new awesome bands to talk about as well. And sometimes we make special episodes, which we announce there, where we talk to the bands and interview them, or let them tell stories from their experiences on the road. And we might have something in the making, which we will post soon about. So stay tuned, stay updated on our social medias, and you will know. But that's all for me. I've been Erik, and you've been listening to Metal Verbalizer podcast, verbalizing the band Harsh. Have a good one.